After the World War II, the Cold War began, which was the battle between democracy and communism. During the Cold War, numerous proxy wars were taking place, one of which was the well-known Vietnam War. This was a very unique war because of Vietnam's unexpected victory against a military superpower, the United States. So how did the United States, one of the most militarily powerful countries, lose to a third world country, Vietnam? Conflicts between American soldiers, advantages of the Viet Congs, and the public pressure within the United States contributed to the loss of the Vietnam War. Conflicts between white American and African American soldiers caused the lack of cooperation and teamwork during the war. In fact, the war in Vietnam was America's first racially integrated conflict. Before then, black soldiers had fought in all of America's military engagements, but in segregated units. Young black soldiers also discovered that white soldiers, notably at Da Nang, repeatedly refused to pick up exhausted black soldiers in their jeeps, and that army barbers were not trained to cut black hair, although the merest hint of an afro was penalized. According to the Time magazine, 60% of black soldiers believed that they should not fight in Vietnam because of inequality in the US. One soldier even stated that, "Why should I come over here when some of the South Vietnamese live better than my people? We have enough problems fighting white people back home." Viet Cong's beneficial factors and the public pressure of the United States contributed to the loss of the war. In addition, the North Vietnamese troops, also known as the Viet Congs, were supplied and supported by China and Soviet Union. A total of $2 billion was given in aid to fight against the United States. Fighting on familiar ground was a significant advantage for the Viet Cong during the Vietnam War. Vietnam is a country with diverse geography, including jungles, mountains, and swamps. The Viet Congs were able to use this terrain to their advantage. They were able to conduct hit-and-run attacks, lay traps, and ambush their enemies, often disappearing into the dense forest before they could be caught. The Viet Cong also used underground tunnels and the complex networks of hidden bases and supply lines to move around and avoid detection. North Vietnamese soldiers were dedicated to fight for independence and for communism. They were fiercely loyal to their leadership, which had already provided land reform in the North. Public pressure within the United States and anti-war protests led to the loss of the Vietnam War. The strong public anti-war opinions expressed in the media influenced US policymakers. The media played a significant role in shaping public opinion. Television broadcasts showed military abuses of the war, including the suffering of both American soldiers and Vietnamese civilians. This coverage brought the reality of the war into people's eyes and contributed to the growing anti-war opinion. Protests, often led by young people and college students, were widespread and vocal, with millions of Americans going to the streets to demand an end to the war. Eventually, this outrage, fueled by television coverage, ultimately led to the decision to withdraw the US troops in 1973, an end of the US involvement in the Vietnam War. The loss of the Vietnam War was due to a combination of factors. Not only were there conflicts between American soldiers, but also the Viet Cong had several advantages. The advantages include the foreign support from nearby communist forces, China and Soviet Union, fighting on familiar terrain, and a dedication to fight for the independence of communism. Additionally, the public pressure within the United States, fueled by the media, led to the official decision to withdraw troops from Vietnam. These contributing factors ultimately led to the loss of the Vietnam War.